Today we demonstrate the functionality of the old film projector, specifically focusing on this fifth environment. We will witness the process of how the film is moved, and the two lenses that are used for the two basic cinematographic formats, namely the microscope and the flare, will be examined. The movies were distributed for the sake of convenience in 20-minute segments. Each individual segment was referred to as a part, and if you go back and watch Fight Club, you will gain a deeper understanding of a specific piece of the movie. At this stage, we were getting ready to create the initial piece or part. We made the preparation on the Winder machine. When the films arrived in the different areas, let's assume that they were typically 6 pieces, but the number could vary depending on whether they were a cardboard that could contain up to 5 films, or a highly significant film that could even have 8 or 9 pieces. The films were combined by utilizing the Catozzo press, which functioned as the winder for assembling the pieces together in this process. At this point, the addition between the two films was meticulously prepared, with utmost care taken to ensure that the entire piece remained perfectly framed and aligned within the composition. When the two parts of the two films were combined, this tool was utilized. A strip of tape was placed over it in order to keep the films together, and the press would cut off the excess material that extended beyond the desired length, ensuring a neat and precise finish. The ultimate result was the merging of the two films. After the film is prepared, we place it inside the machine for further processing. We mount the removable coil. In this case, on his machine, we close the pin and we pass the film through the various passages. And now we proceed to wrap it on the machine in the first winding reel. At this particular point in time, we proceed with the setup in the machine. The objective turret opens up, and you move inside the various sensors that are present. A sensor to prevent the film from breaking. At this point, we come to a stop. Our next task is to closely examine the Maltese cross, which was the specific tool that was used to ensure that the image remained steady on the screen while you were watching it. And then the steps for the sensors are performed once more. Here we arrive at the audio. And the last sensor, the sensor that allows us to prevent the film from breaking downstream of the projection and unrolling on the ground while we are doing something else. At this point, we would close the objective turret and choose which of the two objectives was useful for the projection, either the CinemaScope format, which is narrow and long, or the flat format, which is generally square like the old 4:3 television. At this point, we were ready to start it.
With films, there was really a lot of work for the projectionist. Talking about film seems like a very old topic, but less than 10 years ago, movies in theaters still arrived on film. If you liked the video, leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Thank you, see you soon.